Late version of the morning mental. I am the official, the original, the one and only, the most hated and elated, the one who will not be refused to stop being celebrated. GrandMaster J in your ear hole. Listen, y'all thought I wasn't going to come through. Yeah, I'm going to come through, but I got to keep it unpredictable because we got too many haters and moist elevators in my life right now. But I'm here because you knew you wasn't going to get off the hook that easy. Got a couple of things with your name on it that I came to drop in your spirit. If you own your job, turn it up to make your co-workers get a little bit upset. We are under what looks like a extraterrestrial eclipse right now. The sky is extra dark, but it's darker in the hearts of those who don't want to understand that we living in some strange times. So I bid you a grand rising. I bid you a shalom. I say what's up to all of my members of the NFAC. I wish all of you all have a prosperous day. Before we even get started, I'm just going to put some things on your mind real quick, and I'm going to raise about your hair. I'm just going to give you 3 and I'm gone. I'm not going to hang out with you that long. I'm just going to hang out with you long enough to stimulate your mind so you can get on with your day. I want to salute each and every one of you that have found it not robbery to continue to support your boy and hang out with the truth. Now you are seeing why they say that for we do not battle against flesh and blood, but against spiritual wickedness in high places. They don't want the truth to be told, and they want you to stop believing the truth. Hush! How dare you go back to sleep in the matrix? What's wrong with you? How dare you decide you want to wake up and get together and determine your own destiny? Y'all watching it play out right in front of you, and a lot of y'all, this is the time when you should be giving praise to the Most High, because he's actually giving you the sight that people around you don't have. Isn't it blowing your mind this morning that there are people out there that you sit right next to, you sleep right next to, you work right next to, that you done hung out right next to, that don't have the same vision that you have, that they done lost all sight of what the real target is. Oh, they ain't thinking about Breonna Taylor. They don't care about trying to get no reparations. They don't care about trying to us finally get free. They don't care about us trying to fight back so they not shooting at our children. They don't care about none of that. They don't have the sight that you have. And because of that, now you see another piece of scripture playing out for you. For you shall know them by their works. You shall know them by the fruit that they bear, or their lack of. I didn't say that. The Most High said that. Just because I'm seeing it come true is not an excuse for me to start doubting what he's already shown me. He said people gonna fall to your left, people gonna fall to your right. He said that. And a lot of y'all are witnessing it, but it's just like watching a train wreck. You can't turn away, but you also don't want to watch it. It's people that you know. Families are split. Relationships are severed. People are finding out that another piece of scripture is coming true. You cannot be unequally yoked. I mean, you can't be with somebody on y'all two different programs. It's not going to work. We're not fake people like that. Just like oil and vinegar, you're going to see what mix and what don't. Don't be shocked when you find out that what you've been rocking with is vinegar and not water, is oil and not water. It won't mix. Don't be surprised. This is the part right here where we see just how strong your faith is, because you claim to be a child of the Most High. Every time I get in here and start lifting up the Most High and I start talking about the chosen and the elect and the righteous ones, y'all, oh yeah, oh, preach all that. But as soon as it comes time to test your resolve, as soon as somebody come along and whisper in your ear, as soon as the demon of doubt pulls up, a lot of y'all out of here. It's just like a certain individual I remember at one of the many protests that I've actually been at, where they did get violent, where they did spray tear gas, where they did try to run the motorcycles over us, where they did try to bump us with their cars, where they did. I remember certain individuals when they told us we're going to start cracking heads at 10 o'clock, them individuals say, well, I got to go. I ain't come for all that. Then why are you out here? If you hanging out with us and we all getting suited and booted and we getting strapped up and putting on extra ammo and putting on goggles and all kind of crazy stuff, and you standing there talking about what we gonna do after this, what's our route of escape, and we look at you and say, escape? Bruh, we came to go to jail. What's wrong with you? And you with the wrong crowd. Everybody out here brought their bail money. This is like a field trip. You ain't got your bail money when you can't roll with us. We came to go to jail. If you can't come out there talking about I'm in it until. No, you can't put conditions on your liberation. You can't sit there and say I wants to be free this much. You either free or you ain't free. Don't you know there was a time when they said that blacks had too much freedom? They figured we had too much freedom. How can you put measure on how much freedom I get as a black person? How can you sit back and say he's got too much freedom? Who made you the freedom police? When all of a sudden did you get the standard on what is free and what's not? I am free because I am. I came into this world free. I'm going to leave about this motherfucker free. So what is you talking about? How can you tell me I'm too free? But now that we want to get free of the bullshit, now that we want to pack up and go be free somewhere else, it's a problem. Now that we want to defend ourselves, it's a problem. Now, when we start to unify, it's a problem. Well, why would it be a problem to anybody other than those who say that they want us to have those things? But in truth, they want the opposite. See, they got to put on the face. They lying to you. They got the mask on. And over here, we operating with masks off. Y'all ain't talking to me yet. So, a lot of y'all are wondering why we all can't just get on one accord. We all got the same problem, don't we? Well, some of us don't see it that way. We rather be distracted. We still rather stay asleep in the matrix. We don't want to wake up. We like it here because it requires us to do no work. I know a lot of y'all listening to me right now, your mind ain't on me no more than a man in the moon. What you're trying to figure out, who is Joe Biden going to pick for his vice presidential candidate? You see, no one is talking about what this man really has done or looked at his past or some of the racist things that he said. No, he got y'all pixie dust over here looking at, I'm going to pick a woman for my vice. Nobody else is announcing who the fuck they picking for the vice president. So why are you making a show out of yours, Joe? Because of the fact you don't want nobody to examine your record, Joe. There's nobody for real of substance that's running in the presidential race this time around, I've noticed. And even some of the people who are who have the audacity to want to think that they want to race, those people, I'm sorry, are not qualified. I'm sorry. There's nobody that's running right now that's qualified to actually lead this country out of the mess that it's in. I mean, don't get me wrong. Kanye is going to get his ass handed to him in this election. It will just be a spectacle. He is just a distraction. And I said that publicly. I would jump back in the race before I let him take the shit down the goddamn drain. Though I have no intentions of running in 2020. You may find me in 2024 if the back to Africa movement don't work. Then I have no choice but to do what I have to do here. But we're not going to talk about that because later on today, I'm going to bring up another issue, which is a distraction. And we've been noticing this, and I have to address this. But before I do, like I said, let's get back to Joe real quick. You know, Joe trying to play off everything. He don't want y'all looking at him. Matter of fact, to secure the black vote, he's playing the oldest trick in the world. I'm going to pick a I'm going to pick a woman, pick a black woman. I'm going to pick a woman. He's appealing to your base instinct. He's not appealing to the fact that this man has his hands in more racist shit than a little bit. And he's the one that said that he didn't want his kids to go to school with black kids because it would be a jungle. This is the same dude. All I'm saying is he's got y'all busy trying to figure that out. Y'all still haven't raised the real questions that need to be raised. The black community has not collectively gone to the media and said, why are you continuing to ignore things that happen in our community when they are relevant to to black history as we see it? Why do you only want to lift up when one of us plays a sport well for you or gets drafted into another slave contract? Why do you only want to talk about when one of us says something that supports one of your views, like someone going to learn all they can about this new religion that they so didn't know nothing about before they slighted it when they tried to stand for the black folks? Why do you not lift up, like, for instance, when those people went up to Stone Mountain, which was the largest organized armed march by black folks since the Black Panthers? Y'all didn't talk about that shit at all. Y'all act like that didn't even happen. It happened on social media. Matter of fact, you had to go backwards and talk about it only because of what happened in Louisville. You couldn't ignore it. The shit was just too big. But you ignore. When does the black community ask that question? Y'all like to talk about the 60s so much. Y'all got stuff happening right here in the 2020s and y'all acting like it means nothing. You acting like your own civil rights movement isn't happening right in front of your face. It goes right back to what I said before. You know those people who always talk about what they would have done if they had been alive back then? You're doing right now what you would have done back then, because you have an opportunity to stop talking and join us on the front line. That's the part that's going to really start shutting cats down when I start ending everything with this line. You talking real loud. Join us on the front line. Get suited, get booted, bring your heat, strap up, put on your body armor, bring your semi-automatic weapon. Come on down. We would love to have you. I'm putting out an open invitation to everybody that's talking smack about the NFAC right this moment, that the next time I call for a formation, since you doing all of this talking, since you can show us how it's supposed to be done, you get suited and booted in the right uniform. You come down there with your whatever you think is the John Blaze and join us. Otherwise, this will be the last time that I even acknowledge your existence, because we just going to press ahead. Because, see, we about action, and we already 3 hoops in to your nothing. So for all of the talking I'm hearing, I'm letting you know, as the leader of the NFAC, I'm letting you know, if y'all listen, meet us on the front line. That's all. Come on, let me show us what you got. Come on out there and roll with us. Come on, show us. You know, you saying that y'all can do it better. Oh, it's a coalition. That's why it's called a coalition, because everybody can be a part of it that's on the same mission with us, to protect the black race, to protect the black woman, to protect the black child, to defend. And you claim you on that mission. So if you talking real strong right now, just join us at the next formation. Don't worry, there's one coming. There's people waiting on this one. Trust and believe. Oh, we got some new rules we learned, but we ain't going nowhere. NFAC for life. Y'all know what comes after that. I'm not going to say it this morning. But right now, we trying to move ahead. So let me jump from that, because I had to put that out there because y'all being distracted. We talking about nation building this morning. We talking about what is nation building. People have heard me say this, and some people don't know what I mean when I say nation building. Now, oddly enough, I found out something while I was doing my research I want to share with y'all. I went in and I was trying to look at, what does nation building? Now, when I say nation building, what I'm talking about is the going into a place where there's no established country, because land would be, somebody would decide to sign a treaty to give us some land. They'd be so gracious and all that. That we go in and build out the infrastructure of an entire nation, every piece of it, and build it up to a standard that we agree on, and establish our own government within it, and our own defenses, our own trade, our own everything inside of this area, sovereign, that's ours. That's what I'm thinking when I say nation building. But what's crazy is I went to the United Nations and asked them, what is your definition of nation building? This is the United Nations definition of nation building. It is the process of establishing civic order and governmental functions in countries that are emerging from a period of war or other types of upheaval. You see what they're saying? Nations can only be born out of war, out of an upheaval, a period of war, and they just can't get it. They just go. That's what they're saying a nation is built from, that it can only be born of conflict. Now, while I have to agree that sounds more like nation rebuilding. That's not nation building. You don't went in and tore up somebody's shit and now you want to claim that you're nation building. No, that's going in and destroying and invading another country, destroying that country and putting in place what you want. That is not nation building. That's colonization. That's imperialism. That's what that is. I'm sorry, I got to call it what it is. But that's what the United Nations calls nation building. Now, interestingly enough, I went to some other sources and found out that from the political science term, it's completely different. And when I compared the two, I'm trying to understand, well, who came up with the UN term? Because nation building, according to the actual definition, is the constructing or structuring of a national identity using the power of the state. Nation building aims at the unification of the people. Let me say it again, at the unification of the people within the state so that it remains politically stable and viable in the long run. In other words, the people got together and came together as a state, establishing their own identity. And now they call themselves a country, a nation. And now they've got it set up so they're going to be around for a minute. They're not going nowhere. They got all of the pieces. Sometimes it can be one group. Sometimes it can be states. We got so many divisions amongst the black nation. We're all not one state. We're many different states. We're just like the 12 tribes. Oh, don't y'all make me start teaching up here. Y'all know the 12 tribes. When I say the 12 tribes, everybody want to suddenly become, oh, I don't know what you're talking about. Let me break it down for you real quick. The kingdom of Israel and the kingdom of Judea. The territory of the kingdom of Israel covered most of the central and northern land of Israel and was inhabited by descendants of 10 of the original 12 tribes of that conquered land of Canaan, under the leadership of Joshua. Y'all remember Asher, Dan, Ephraim, Gad, Issachar, Manasseh, Naphtali, Reuben, Simeon, Zebulun. Okay? So when I'm talking about the tribes, we're not going to argue today over the tribes, because there's two more that I didn't talk about. But you have to go all the way back to Abraham, who's the patriarch, and under his grandson Jacob, to understand what we're talking about when we say the tribes. Y'all got to go do your research. You can't just let people tell you these things. I see the 144,000, 12,000 from each tribe. Somebody even asked me the other day, are they divided by men and women? I say, well, I can't find any way where they show a division of sex. It just gives you the number. The same way when people see the NFAC, they see brothers and sisters. You see, getting fed up is not restricted to just one sex. Getting fed up is not just restricted to one income bracket. Getting fed up is not just restricted to just one part of society. Anybody can get fed up as a people. As a people. So understand where this comes from. This ancestral rage, this ancestral energy is something that's been with us all the time. So when I say the 12 tribes, don't get lost in the translation. Let's get back to the matter at hand. We're talking about nation building. Now, before I can go on with this whole piece about nation building, I gotta set the tone for you. And here's what we're gonna be teaching a little bit. I know a lot of y'all, if you in your book, you got your first book of Enoch with Yahweh's name restored. Remember, it has to say with Yahweh's name restored. Otherwise, it is a counterfeit. It is a fake. Somewhere around chapter 19, verse 1, it says, and Uriel said to me, here shall stand in many different appearances the spirits of the angels, which have united themselves. Notice they put the word united. They didn't say joined. They didn't say hung out. They didn't say assembled. They said united. In other words, in order for them to do what they needed to do, everybody had to get together. Now, it didn't say all of them. It said just the ones that were present. Our problem is we want everybody to get on board this whole train of unification. What y'all don't realize, a lot of people are just like the people back in the day. Y'all remember when we used to throw the house parties? Everybody remember the house party? Well, there was this group of people who was at the place first. They set up, they got the food right, they got the music right, they got the barbecue going out back, they got everything set up. And then the party would start, and all of the people would come to the party, and all kind of craziness would happen. The party was over, everybody would leave. Now you got a crew that got to clean up everything. You see, a lot of people are like the people that just want to come to the party. They don't want to set up for the party. They don't want to set up the music. They don't want to get the food right. They don't care about none of that. They just want somebody to get it built. They going to come. But somebody got to do the setup. And they probably ain't going to hang around for the cleanup. But they going to come. And see, that's where we at right now. It's too many people want to come to the party. But don't nobody want to go and set up for the party. You got people who want to come to the party that's criticizing you because the party ain't ready to go yet. You got people over here that's on their way to the party. They ain't ready yet. They told you they on their way, but y'all know how we say when we on our way, but we about to get in the shower. They them folks right there, but they trying to tell you about what you doing to set up for the party. You understand what I'm saying? We don't need them folk right now. But we need the folk right now. We need the right now folk that know that the time is right now. And it's because of the simple fact that it keeps telling y'all every time I have to go back to the word, everybody look all strange. But see, a lot of y'all don't understand there's evolution, there's levels to this. We started off here teaching first, and then we took it to the street. We didn't take it to the street and then all of a sudden come back here and want to start teaching you. No. It's the other way around. That's why big shout out to all the first day, my day ones. Y'all that's been learning since we started breaking this stuff down back in December. That's been with me this whole time. I got to salute y'all because you all understand that when I start talking about some of the things that we've already covered, it makes it easier for you to keep up with the flow. And there's nothing wrong with that. The longer you sit, the longer you learn. Some people get converted right then and there. Some people have to hear 2-3 times before they understand that it's not me talking. I'm talking to you today on behalf of the Most High. And understand, I'm not saying I have a direct connection. I'm not that narcissistic. And I'm damn sure not that arrogant. I understand the structure. I know that the Kodesh Matakim that watches over us and all of the EL, see, a lot of y'all hear EL and you don't know that EL is a source of power. So when you hear Suriel and Raphael and Raguel and Michael and Seraphiel and Gabriel, see, you've been pronouncing their names wrong. You've been calling them Raphael and Michael and Gabriel. No, the EL is part of their name. It's a title. Those are the ones that actually sit between. Those are like the joint chiefs of staff that sit between us, the watchers. And I'm teaching right now. Suriel was one of the Kodesh Matakim, for he is the eternity and the trembling. Raphael is one of the Kodesh Malakim, for he is the spirit of man. Raguel is one of the Kodesh Malakim who take vengeance for the world and for the luminaries. Michael is one of the Kodesh Malakim, for he is obedient in his benevolence over the people and the nations. Serachiel is one of the Kodesh Malakim who is set over the spirits of mankind and who sin in the spirit. And Gabriel is one of the Kodesh Matakim who oversees the Garden of Eden and the serpents and the cherubim. Those are the name of the archangels. You see, when we start to teach you the structure, then you understand that when someone is telling you that I'm telling you what's told to me, see, there's a chain, there's an order that comes down. We're not together simply because we can exercise our Second Amendment rights. We're together because we're all of the same belief. That's what we're having a hard time watching those around us who really don't believe. Or they're still under the influence of the slave master's religion. So they will fight you tooth and nail because you're trying to pull their ass up out the matrix and they just don't want to come out. They are not coming out no matter what you do. It's kind of sad though, because you all know that when we start talking about the gathering of the souls to the day of judgment, there is a segment that is in the ancient books of the Egyptians, in the gold books, the books of life, not the book of death. that talks about what happens, and you've never heard this before. I don't care where you've been. What I'm about to break off on you, this is one of the reasons why you want to be tuned in to the morning mental or facts over feelings. Every once in a while, I give you something you've never heard anywhere in your life. I guarantee I'll put money you never heard this one right here before, because I had to go back and read it about 8-9 times myself and study it and then go and ask y'all what is happening here. But here are, they always talk about people who have to go to judgment. And you've been hearing that all your life. Oh, y'all got to go to judgment. You can't judge me. You hear that all the time. But what you don't hear is what happens at the judgment. Nobody ever writes about what's supposed to go down at the judgment. They just kind of leave that. Think about it. They always leave that. Oh, you going to hell for that. But they never tell you what's going to happen when you get to hell. Not when you get sentenced to hell, when you just show up to be heard. You know, like, okay, I'm here. I can go either way. What's happening? They never tell you that part. They just let your imagination fill in whatever. But there is a piece here in the ancient books of the gold and the bronze book that talks about 12 people and what happened to them when they showed up for judgment. And it's so interesting because it goes right back to something else that we learned about when y'all remember the piece that we did on souls and the 3 places that you go in Sheol when your soul goes to Sheol. Forget all that. He's in heaven looking down on me. That's not what's written. That is not what's written. When you exit this plane, your soul goes into one of 3 areas in Sheol. Depending on what you've done in this particular plane is going to determine where you sit until judgment. And it says in the scriptures that though it says in the book of Enoch, it says that he has the souls separated. Those y'all who's been good and who's righteous, you're sitting there with the souls that are still crying out for the avenging of the blood that was spilled between Cain and Abel. Those cries still reaching out to y'all. They're going to be answered at the judgment. You sitting with them, you good. You got that other group over here that y'all know y'all wasn't going to get nowhere, no way, but you ain't going to suffer yet. You're going to sit there until judgment, and you're going to be grouped with people just like you. It says in the word, you're going to be grouped with people just like you. So if you was running around murdering people, you group with the murderers. You was running around raping people, you group with the rapists. You running around committing genocide on people, you all y'all together. That's what the book says. However, there are those of you all who still don't believe that this judgment that everybody's been talking about, you know, the one they lied to you about in the slave master church, that this does play some impact on where you end up and how you end up and what's going to happen in the end, if you give a damn about any of that. Some of you all have adapted an attitude of apathy. You don't care. You're apathetic toward the entire situation. You don't give a damn. So you've already given up, so you lost. So how about you get out the way for the rest of us that still got our heads in the game and we trying to win this thing? Is that all right with us? Can we do that? Y'all all right with that? Can we get them out the way and go on ahead and get where we trying to go? Because the word was written for a reason. It wasn't written because they had nothing better to do. And it didn't survive thousands of years just for you to sit there and be like, well, I don't want. A fool perishes for lack of knowledge, and my people do the same. So if y'all don't mind, I'm going to slide on into the book of gold here. And these are 11 people who showed up in what they call the Hall of Judgment. That's what they call it, the Hall of Judgment. This is from the scroll of Ramkat, an Egyptian. And these are the things that describe when you showed up at the judgment. Let's go. It says, awful is the great day of judgment at its dawning in the netherworld. The soul stands naked in the hall of judgment. Nothing can now be hidden. Hypocrisy is of no avail. To maintain goodness when the soul revealed its own repulsiveness is futile. To mumble empty rituals is foolishness. To call upon gods who have no existence is a waste of time. We got to put our kickstand down right there, y'all. We about to get deep up in here for a minute. Did you hear what they said? When you show up, none of that madness you pulling right now is going to work. We're talking about soul business right now. This is not about your physical. So if some of y'all can't get into this, go ahead and log off. I know it's too deep for some of y'all this morning because it's shattering your theology, because that's not what you just gave your tithe and offerings for. That's not what you just gave all those first fruits for. That's not what you were casting money on the altar for. That is not why the pastor's got a brand new this and a brand new that, and you trying to figure out how you're going to pay your light bill. That's not what none of this is about. This is the actual word for real. This is what they hid from you. This is what they took out in the Council of Laodicea. This is what they carved out and left you with the 66 from Genesis to Revelation. This is why there's a gap between the New Testament and the Old Testament, because there is a gap because there was nothing there. There's a lot of reasons that could be burning you, but right now, I'm just telling you what's in this book. I didn't write it. I'm just sharing it with you, and we breaking it down on the Morning Mental. Now let's hurry up and get these people to judgment. But notice what he said. Nothing you do will work. Even to call upon the gods who have no existence. See, that's cold. He said you can call on the gods that have no existence. He already knows that you calling on a false god. Even in the end, he gonna let you keep on calling on. I don't care who you calling on. You gonna find out if that's really the God that they exist when you call on them and you are in the judgment and it's going down and you sitting there crying out to who? But you're not acknowledging who got you there or how you got there. You came in with your, like Jesus said, get your mind right. Get your mind right. Because none of that other stuff is going to work. And they said, the part I love is if you're trying to maintain your goodness, when your soul reveals how repulsive it is, they're going to see right through your fakeness. In the hall of judgment, the wrongdoer is judged. On that day and henceforth, his qualities shall from his food, his soul, soft as clay, upon the earth is hardened, set into a shape according to its molding. The balances are adjusted. That's deep, and I got to kind of break that down for you. We taught in a previous class that it is said that the earth is not for your pleasure. It is a classroom for the development of your soul. So because it's a classroom for the development of your soul, it says that when you leave this existence, your soul will manifest the shape of the things you've done here. So if you had you black-hearted and you did all kind of evil against people and you just did some heinous stuff, then your soul is going to manifest a grotesque form. The shape of your soul is grotesque now. But if you have lived or at least attempted to be righteous, one of the chosen, showed yourself steady and approved in your word and did what you were supposed to do, at least to the best of your ability. We know nobody's perfect, but at least try to be the perfect that you could be. Then what will happen? What then happens is this. You find yourself in a situation where it says that whatever your form is, it's going to harden, and that's the form. And the balances will be adjusted. Meaning, I told y'all before, there is a spirit of karma floating around the world right now. Why do y'all think all this crazy stuff is happening? Everything that's happening right now is happening because of the simple fact that karma is on the loose. Everything that's happening that we are seeing is showing you that the dark, everything done in the dark is coming to the light. People are finding out it's better to go ahead and let's go ahead and get it out now and not, come on, we're not going to do that. We got to let everybody know because it's coming out. Cops quitting their jobs. It's coming out. CEOs stepping down from companies. It's coming out. Politicians trying to, I'm not running again. It's coming out. That's karma. And anybody who goes against it, you too will be exposed too. So you got to be careful when you're running around talking about, look what somebody doing, trying to expose somebody else. It is written in the scriptures. For one finger you point at somebody else, 3 are pointed back at you. You don't even trip. You watch, you let Yah handle that. We got bigger things to worry about. But when that happens, y'all know that it's Yah that did it. It was not us. We got kingdom business to tend to. Can we move on with kingdom business? Thank you much. Let's get back to sending these people down to judgment. It says in the hall of judgment, on that day, here we go. One arrives. The 42 virtues are his assessors. Shall he dwell among beauty as a godling, or be given captive to the keeper of horrors? No, dwell among vile things under a merciful mantle of darkness. This person showed up with the 42 virtues. This person was righteous. This person was one of the chosen. This person was one of the elect. So he got to go and look what they said. He went to go dwell amongst the beauty of the godlings. You see what happened? Because he's so manifested in a beautiful form. But then the next guy shows up. One arrives. Notice how they announce when you show up at the judgment. One arrives. You ain't going in with your girlfriend. You ain't going in with your homeboys. You ain't going in with the movement that you're a part of. You're going in by yourself. They got the dude standing by the one arrives. You on deck. It's your time. So you think twice about the things you doing now and some of the thoughts that you acting on, some of the stuff that you letting people manipulate in. One arrives. The twisted body, tormented on earth, and the ugly face have gone, discarded at the portal. He strides through the hall of radiance to pass into the place of everlasting beauty. Did y'all catch what they just said? Am I the only one in here with a sweet tooth that caught what they just said? That was music to somebody's ears. Listen to what they just said. Showed up for judgment. But look what they said. The ugly face, gone. The twisted body, gone. Lost at the portal. And this was a person that was now walking in radiance and beauty, and they went into the place of everlasting beauty. That means that no matter what form you have here on earth, no matter what physical form you have, inside is what makes the difference. This will be discarded, and you either gonna walk in everlasting beauty. I'm not making this up. Trust me, it's messing me up too. I'm just handling it well. I can't act a fool when I'm at the steering wheel, but I can smile while we driving through the valley. You know what I'm saying? One arrives. Now no earthly body shields the horror, which is the true likeness of the evildoer upon earth. He runs from the light which he cannot tolerate, and he hides himself in the shadows near the place of terror. Soon he will be drawn to his compatible place among the dismal company. He on his way to the place don't nobody want to go. He can't even stand in the light. Because he know when he get there, he ain't even going to stand for the judgment. You know what they say? He ain't standing there. He already knows. He can go hide in the dark. They'll be along to collect you soon. One arrives. He has been upright and the just one. His failings and his weaknesses were of little account. This upright man fears nothing, for he is welcomed among the bright ones, and shall go unhampered among the everlasting lords. Did you listen very carefully to what happened to this person at judgment? This is the person that shows up, and they are upright, and they're a just person. And even though they had some failings, and even though they had some weaknesses, they made some mistakes, they said that's of little account. Which should teach you, if they're not going to hold against you when you get to the judgment, things that you did here on earth that will be of little account to them, who are you to sit here and try to sit in judgment of somebody who is walking the same path to glory that you're trying to walk, and you trying to hold things against them along their journey while you're walking on your own? Y'all not listen to me up in here. How are you going to criticize how someone else is carrying their load when you still carrying your own load? You can't sit there and say, look how he carrying his load. He ain't carrying it right. I think that his load might be empty. When you ain't finished carrying your load, but they're saying when you get to the judgment, it won't make a difference. Only the evildoers and the wrongdoers have something to worry about. But if you made mistakes here, they just said it's of little account as long as you upright and you're a just person. Don't worry about them. Worry about this. Because no one ever tells you what happens when someone goes to the judgment. One arrives. He trembles before the unseen judges. He is lost. He knows nothing. Earthly knowledge and confidence are left behind. The balance drops. He sees his soul and recognizes his true self, and he rushes into the merciful darkness. It enfolds him, and dark arms embrace him, drawing him into the terrible gloom, into the place of dark, secret horror. Did you not see what they did? They're saying that they're going to bring you in front of yourself. They're going to drop the mirror, and you're going to see yourself for who you truly are. You can lie to us all you want. You can sit around and tell all the lies to try to make yourself look good all you want. But when you get in front of that mirror and you see your true form, it reminds me of the character. Y'all remember the movie, what was it? The League of Extraordinary Gentlemen, Sean Connery, all this. They brought all of the characters from all the different stories and put them together to form like a super friends of classic characters. Well, one of the characters in there was Dorian. Remember Dorian Gray? Remember, if you don't know the story of Dorian Gray, real quick, Dorian Gray was a story about a guy who saves this Indian guy. This was the comic book version. Saves this Indian guy, and to bless him, he gave him a painting. There was nothing on the painting. He said, what does the painting do? He says, you'll find out. He hangs a painting on his wall. Ain't nothing on it. On his way home, he get hit by a car. He should have died, but he didn't. Everybody said it was a miracle. He goes home. He looks at the painting. Guess what? The accident didn't kill him because it showed up on the painting. He realizes that anything that happens to him, the painting will absorb the impact. Anything that anyone tries to do to him, the painting will absorb. So he couldn't die because no matter what you did to him, it showed up on his painting. Our problem is a lot of y'all don't realize that y'all is the painting. They can do anything and they've done everything to us. But we still here. We ain't extinct yet, but a lot of y'all done lost your will to fight back. A lot of y'all done lost your will to don't even care about how you end up in a situation like this where they used to tell you what happened when you went to the judgment. It wasn't, well, we'll see you at the judgment hall, and that's it. No. They wanted to let you know that when you showed up at the judgment, based on what you've done in this classroom, these are the possible grades you will get. And some of the stuff that y'all worrying about is not what's going to get you the grade. Like you all messed up because of the fact that, oh my God, look at the hand that they dealt him. He has no legs and one arm, and oh, y'all fucked up. No, you don't realize that when that creature gets to, that soul gets to judgment, it says all that's going to come off. They're going to be a beautiful thing and they're going to walk off. So they're a beautiful person inside. This is about who we are inside. I'm talking this morning to the person inside of you. Not the person, not your representative you send out every day that you want to glue on and put on. And we talking about you. I'm talking directly to you. This is not about the person sitting next to you and what they trying to tell you about what I'm saying. I'm talking to you. And if you have a soul, you can hear this in your soul. You've been thinking these same things, and now somebody is putting it articulately in front of you. And all I'm telling you is that we all agree. You're not the only one thinking this stuff. We thinking the same thing. We know there's more to this. We the only ones sitting in the church looking at everybody left and right like, am I the only one that's not getting it? There's something missing. There's some holes in this story. Somebody need to talk to me, because if I'm going to be giving all my time, all my energy, all my resources, all of my faith, all of my belief, all of the comfort that when I leave this place, I have some idea of where I'm going to end up so I can pass gracefully. If I'm giving you all of that, the least you can do is answer my questions. Show me the original. Give me some clarity. Show me how this is relevant to me today. Prove to me that what you're saying is not something that was made up by man, just used to control me. How come I can't ask questions? Why can't I critically think? Why you can't show me the original copies? Why I got to learn 3 different languages to find out I'm reading your version? Why did you see what I'm saying? There's so much that people don't understand, that it is the faith that you have to have first before you go giving yourself to somebody's religion. Let me say that again. It is the faith you have to have first before you go giving yourself to somebody else's religion. Now we talking about what show when they show up. One arrives. She graced the court with beauty. Men sang of her loveliness and grace. Now, as when a mantle is removed, all is discarded, it is the time of the unveiling. Who can describe the lustful thoughts and secret unclean deeds which fashion the horror coming through the portal? There is a hush among the compassionate. That is the ugliest thing that they could say. She was a dime piece when she was here. She had men talking about, oh my, But they said when she passed through the portal and you saw what she really was, that even the compassionate ones were like, well, I can't say nothing about that one. She gets just what she deserves. I'm with you. Are y'all picking up a commonality here that you passed through a portal? So you're going to let all this is all going to pass behind. And then it's just whatever configuration your soul is in. One arrives. We down to all we got three more people to put through. One arrives. On earth, she was pitied by the compassionate, and she was scorned by the hard-hearted. There, her lot of degradation and servitude, privation and sacrifice, few and meager were the gifts from her life. She had a hard life. Yet she triumphed. Now she comes forward surrounded by brilliance. Even the shining ones are dazzled by her beauty. Wow, that killed me. Sisters, listen to this. Listen to this. This woman had a hard life. They said that people used to have pity on her. They said that people who was hard, like she stand on the corner, they didn't get no money passed by like they don't see her. She was degraded. She was enslaved. They violated her privacy. Nobody sacrificed for her. And she didn't have a whole lot. But when she passed through the portal and shows up for judgment, they said she's surrounded by a brilliance that even the shining ones, and this is capital letters, shining ones is a group of the Kodash Madakim. Even the shining ones who shine all day, they were like, damn, amazing. Do you understand? One arrives. The twisted face and pain-racked body of the cripple have been left behind. I'm going to say that again. The twisted face and pain-racked body of the cripple have been left behind. Somebody need to catch that right there. A kind and loving soul dwelt in prison within its confines. Now the relieved spirit steps forward into the great hall, unencumbered and free and glorious to behold. So the next time you see someone who is a prisoner of this container, know that inside there's a beautiful soul that's just waiting to walk free. And they show up in judgment. One arrives. The splendid body which graced the earth remains there, an empty, decaying thing. The naked soul enters the everlasting halls. It is deformed, misshapen. It's a misformed, misshapen thing fit only to dwell in the merciful gloom of the place which has a compatible affinity. You came through so twisted, so ugly, so deformed that there was only one place for you. That's what happened to you at the judgment. You didn't even have to be judged. One arrives. I got a sidebar. Here comes the comedy. How do you get this job? How do you get the job of standing there at the portal of judgment? You get to see everything that happened, plus you get to see the face of the cats when they come in, and you get to announce them. That's some gay. One arrives. Come on, bro. How do you get that job? All right, let's get back to this. One arrives. Neither goodness nor wickedness bears down upon the scales. The balances remain straight. The soul departs to the twilight borderland between the region of light and the region of darkness. What just happened? This was someone who was blameless. This was someone who didn't even get a chance to live a life. So when you think about all of the children that die in birth, when you think about the children that die shortly afterwards, they're blameless. So because of that, this is what happens. They're showing you that when because everybody's got to go to judgment. Don't care if you was here for 100 years, you was here for 1 second. You step foot into the realm, you now have, and we don't get to decide where the realm begins. They do. So once that soul manifests itself into the realm, now there's some time on the clock. Everything got to be balanced out. Notice they talking about balance. Notice they talking about scales. Notice they talking about everything weighing out. A lot of y'all can't get this teaching. I know this is too deep for you. You used to milk and cereal. We on steak and potatoes. potatoes over here. A lot of y'all trying to look through your 66 books and try to figure out what is he reading, because you have the slave master's Bible and we have the actual Greek Aramaic text right here. You have the watered down version that's supposed to make sure you keep giving your money to an institution and keep believing in a spook that you can't see in the sky when all hell is breaking loose around you, yet not ask you what's some of these contradictions, what's going on with this, because you have the rest of it being hidden from you. So you can't handle none of this right now. But those of y'all who tracking, who keep it moving and understand that, listen, we walk through the understanding, not through the misunderstanding. And we damn sure go and do our research. And I invite each and every one of y'all to research everything that you hear on the Morning Mental. I'm with you in the late Morning Mental. It's almost lunchtime. It won't be morning anymore. I think we might roll over into the midday muse. Hold on a second. Organic. Yes. Somebody asked me. Yes. Completely organic. Let's see if we can get one more person on deck. It says, now this brother came in the door with a prayer. He didn't come in. He stopped. Don't do that one arrives. Can I talk to my man for a minute? O great lords of eternity, who were once in the flesh, even as I, hear not the outpourings of an overburdened and sorrowful heart. For who am I to presume to call upon the great God of all? Who am I not without wickedness and weak in spirit? I have filled my heart with the knowledge of the secret writings, but still I fear the judgment. Therefore, great lords of eternity, I call upon you who once walked the earth, even as I, and who therefore understand the failings and the weakness of men. Can I intercede for them? And if I keep going through this, it's going to get so deep that I'm going to have to open up a whole nother series on teaching of what's about to happen right there. But if you notice, I gave you 11 people who showed up in the judgment. They showed up in the judgment, each one of them representing a different example of one of us, of how your soul shows up in. It's not going to be the bro with the shades on, with the freckles on his nose. That guy's not showing up at the judgment. It is the spirit that is within me. It is what you are listening to. See, this is just a machine. I am an electrical force that lives inside of this machine, and I'm using it to communicate with you. You too are in a living electric force. Your soul is living electricity. It is a life form that is inhabiting a physical form that it's using so that it can manipulate its environment. It is placed here in this classroom for the very reason so the soul can be developed. Everything, your five senses are input so that data can be put in so that you can take the class. It's like trying to go to a class and you got to go get the laptop. This is your laptop so you can take this class. But you are in here taking the class, and some of y'all got the motherfucker on automatic pilot and it's just bopping along, and a lot of y'all didn't read the manual, and the rest of y'all is putting pollutants in it, and the other one of y'all just driving around seeing if you can drive it in the ground, and then a lot of y'all are not even attuned to who the owner is. You ain't read the receipt, you ain't looked at the owner's manual, you don't give a damn. You just in here. You believe that you just woke up in the machine and you ain't figured it out yet, when it's actually a purpose to us being here. And some of those purposes are individuals, and a lot of those purposes are as a group. We have a group mandate. This is not about where we are now physically, but we have to put ourselves in position to receive what's coming next. And I'm not teaching you anything that you can't go learn on your own. But isn't it tragic that I can't find other people teaching the actual manuscripts anymore? Very interesting. I wonder why that frightens some people. I wonder why some people would want to make this a target. You see, maybe the reason they're trying to destroy the NFAC is because we do represent something bigger than just the black militia. Maybe that's the only title they can put on us. Who wants the term Black Army? Who wants the term Army of Israel? Who wants the term Army of the Black Nation? Who wants the term United Black Front? Who wants the term United Nations of African States? Who wants that term? Nobody wants they don't want to use any of those terms because those terms are a threat to them. I saw something that really distressed me the other day. I saw someone put together a post where it said that I was working along with foreign countries to overthrow. I never said that. It is no secret that NFAC has international alliances. Though that's no secret. That doesn't mean we're in cahoots with anyone to overthrow anyone. Just because I pointed out the example of what the United States does to other states like they did in Syria and in Afghanistan and in Iraq, that's a proven track record if you don't know anything about political history. Just because someone in the United States is in the position to be the recipient of the same thing you do to other countries is by no means an accusation or grounds for an accusation that they're actually doing it. Our mission is still very simple. Stop trying to amplify it to make it more than what it is. And anybody who buys into that, again, I have to question your loyalty to the movement. I really do, because you can't say you in the movement until. There can be no until. We're never going to get liberated as a people if we keep putting until. We're only going to, I'm only in it until the bullets start flying. I'm only in it until they start locking people. I'm only in it until. That's conditional. You cannot operate in an unconditional environment, in a conditional configuration. You can't do it. But I've held y'all too long, and I know y'all got better things to do with your day. So I will not hold you any longer. I did want to talk to you all a little bit about that and those things for the morning mental, to give you some things to think about as we go through our day. And somebody asked me if I would spend a few minutes before I go talking about the master plan and unification. And I've talked about this many times before, so I'll give you all that. I'm not going to speak any more about some of the topics that I've spoken about before. I think I've spent too much time on earthly matters. I think it's time for us to get back to the business at hand, which is the kingdom business. But at the same time, letting you all know that, as I said before, we are about to have the next Black Guns formation. I will be giving the date and time, so please stay tuned. This time we're going to do it the right way. I know my black folks, they don't want y'all to do it at all because you're shaking up the world. I'm going to see y'all later on Facts Over Feelings tonight. I'm not going to spend any more time now because we did get started late. It's midday. And I encourage you all to come back and join me tonight on Facts Over Feelings, or you can continue to let people get in your head and sway you away from your true purpose. I'm GrandMaster Jay, and I want to tell you right now, I still got nothing but love for you, even if you're a hard group to love. I'll see you all soon. Shalom.
Yeah, boy.